Dinesh D'Souza, Letters to a Young Conservative. Embark on a journey through the principles and values of American conservatism with Dinesh D'Souza's Letters to a Young Conservative. This book examines the foundations of conservatism, its complex relationship with liberalism, and the moral implications of both philosophical stances. Covering a myriad of topics such as political correctness, Reagan's presidency, gun control, feminism, and family values, D'Souza highlights the importance of conserving the principles of the American Revolution. Prepare to discover the intricacies of American conservatism and unravel the many layers of this political philosophy.
Understanding American Conservatism. American conservatism upholds the principles of the American Revolution, cherishing the virtues of a democratic society, patriotism, and family values. This is distinguished from European conservatism that opposes democracy and capitalism. Conservatives view freedom as a means for making proper moral choices, while libertarians view freedom as an end in itself. Liberalism has undergone two major changes since the founding of the country, creating a welfare state in the 1930s and expanding freedom in the 1960s. Modern liberals no longer support classical liberalism, while conservatives do. American conservatives aim to conserve the ideals of the American Revolution, fighting against economic, political, and religious oppression. This meaning of conservatism is unique to the United States, in contrast to traditional European conservatism that rejects democracy and capitalism. Upholding values such as patriotism, civic pride, and family, American conservatives view freedom as a means for making moral decisions. On the other hand, libertarians believe freedom is an end in itself and oppose most governmental regulations, while conservatives may use regulations to encourage virtuous behavior. Over time, liberalism has redefined the concept of freedom in the United States, from freedom from want in the 1930s to freedom from external authority in the 1960s. Classical liberalism ideals are now primarily supported by American conservatives and not modern liberals. Such movements illustrate how divergent American conservatism has become from conservatism elsewhere, defining itself by the unique values of the country's own revolution. The power of conservative humor. The author argues that young conservative college students can learn from liberal activists' radical methods to oppose the status quo. Using humor as a powerful political tool, they can expose and ridicule liberal concepts like political correctness, the distorted version of multiculturalism, and postmodernism. The author suggests that the First Amendment supports conservatives' fight for public debate and free expression of opinions, which are muzzled by liberals. As opposed to the liberal version of multiculturalism, conservatives should study major non-Western works, like the Quran, and the Tale of Genji. The book encourages college students to use their humor to challenge the status quo instead of preserving it. The Reagan Revolution. The Reagan presidency is often criticized for his lack of sophistication and honesty, but he managed to achieve monumental goals by sticking to his convictions and remaining closed-minded to negative opinions. He successfully ended the Cold War and paved the way for the economic boom in the 1990s through his attack on the welfare state and tax cuts. Despite conservative criticism, these moves proved to be the catalyst for strong economic growth and eventually led to a budget surplus. Reagan's classical liberal beliefs in free speech also played a role in his triumph as a president. Reagan's beliefs on big government. Reagan believed that big government was a big problem, and that it should not be allowed to expand beyond its proper sphere. Government is inherently coercive and inefficient. Reagan believed that technological capitalism is a more efficient method of lowering inequality than progressive income taxation. Multinational corporations and free trade hold the best hope of spreading prosperity to the rest of the world, and development and affluence are the best recipes for preserving the environment. Reagan believed that America's creation of a large affluent class serves as an example to the rest of the world of what democracy can do. The role of personal responsibility. The book argues that the role of government should be smaller, and personal responsibility should be larger. This tenet of classical liberalism and modern conservatism implies that people should take responsibility for their actions, and the government cannot protect them against every possible harm. The book applies this principle to several controversial issues. The book proposes that affirmative action, while well-intentioned, is a form of discrimination that questions the abilities of minorities. The emphasis should be on building their achievements and not their self-esteem. Similarly, gun control laws only restrict law-abiding citizens from defending themselves against criminals, and a well-armed society is safer statistically. The book also criticizes liberal Supreme Court judges who have twisted the U.S. Constitution and robbed the American people of their right to be ruled by elected officials. Finally, the book suggests that immigration policy should be selective to avoid giving free rides on the welfare wagon to anyone who crosses the border, while welcoming hardworking newcomers who can contribute to the economy. The moral dimension of conservatism. Conservatism intertwines moral values with politics and society. Upholding these values benefits individuals and society as a whole. The conservative emphasis on virtue is highlighted in various social issues such as feminism, gay rights, abortion, and family values. Conservatism is not just a political philosophy about the role of government and personal responsibility. It also carries a moral dimension that is vital to upholding the values of society. Moral standards exist and, according to conservatives, must be upheld for the betterment of society and individuals. Liberals criticized this conservative stance, arguing that it restricts freedom, but conservatives believe that freedom without virtue and moral principles results in a miserable, disconnected society. Several social issues illustrate the conservative emphasis on virtue. Feminism, for example, is seen as misguided for its disregard of the private sphere and its failure to acknowledge the crucial role of raising children and running a household in maintaining family integrity. Similarly, in the case of gay rights, conservatives argue that homosexuality has moved beyond personal choice and become a political ideology that subverts the central role of heterosexual relationships and the family in Western culture. Another issue that highlights the absurdity of liberal positions on freedom is abortion. For pro-choice activists, autonomy supersedes the sanctity of human life. Conservatives also argue that the welfare state in America has subsidized illegitimate children, resulting in the erosion of the central and stable family unit of society. Even intact families rely on nannies and daycare centers to raise their children. Conservatives uphold the values that America holds dear, while liberals often engage in anti-Americanism. Critics who claim that the Constitution was a racist document ignore the fact that Western democracy is the only governmental system that guarantees equal treatment under the law. Liberals also criticize any American foreign policy for demonstrating self-interest, while ignoring the same self-interest in other nations. Conservatives believe that peace is not always the best strategy, as seen in the victory of World War II against the Axis powers. In conclusion, the moral dimension of conservatism must be a central tenet in any discussion of politics and society. Policies based solely on the principle of freedom will lead to a miserable, disconnected society. Conservatives believe in upholding moral values to benefit individuals and society as a whole. The humorous side of conservatism. The author challenges the stereotype that liberals are fun-loving and conservatives are serious, arguing that the reverse is often true today. Conservatives have plenty to be happy about, including breaking the liberal monopoly on news media and reviving discussions about previously taboo issues. The Republican Party faces challenges in winning the affluent suburban vote and building a diverse base without losing its values. However, these obstacles are surmountable, and the author predicts that the Republicans will be the majority party in the 21st century. Overall, this book challenges preconceptions about the nature of conservatism and highlights its often overlooked humorous side.
In Letters to a Young Conservative, Dinesh D'Souza illuminates the core tenets and moral dimensions of American conservatism, as well as the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for conservatives and Republicans. with an emphasis on personal responsibility, the importance of moral values, and the crucial role of upholding American founding principles. D'Souza asserts that conservatism is a driving force for positive change in society. By exploring the contrast between conservatives and liberals, and the historical progression of liberalism, this book highlights the principles that set American conservatism apart, and provides valuable insights for anyone seeking to understand the dynamics of American politics today.